Sony, like I said, are they dead? No. But I'm going to tell you this right now, and maybe a lot of people don't want to hear this. Maybe people are going to applaud this. If you think it stops with Nintendo and PC where they're putting their games, you are bugged out. You are not reading the room correctly, because they have to replenish their coffers. And Helldivers 2 isn't the game that's going to be getting them there. Yes, they're making money. People are still playing it. People are still buying it. People are spending on microtransactions. Great. But it is not what Xbox is doing with their gas games. They have one, right? MLB The Show, how many people are buying that? I don't know. How many people are spending money on it? I don't know, but it can't be to great degree, which is why that's one of those games that were forced onto Switch and Xbox.
What? What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Alright everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and today we're going to go over your next dose of the salty batch files. Yes, we do have some more coping, some more receipts, some more intuition, if you will, and of course more delusion as always. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I was saying, what we're going to do is get right to the plot here, right to the theme of things, and we're going to start off with everybody's favorite punching bag, or at least one of the favorite punching bags. Games trailers, of course, speaking stupidity into existence. If you know him on social media, you know this guy is way far out there, probably needs a lot of mental help, but here we are nonetheless because he doesn't stop. But as you can see, LMAO, laughing, crying emoji. You think Gears is coming to PlayStation? This is how it started. And then, of course, as we well know, how it ended is PlayStation announcing that Gears of War Reloaded comes to PS5 on August 26, remastered from the ground up. There were so many receipts, and let me tell you what, I could totally share tons and tons and tons of these receipts where people thought that Gears wasn't coming, Forza wasn't coming, there was only going to be the 4 games, stuff like that. But no, as we continue to unravel, I mean, there's still folks out there, believe it or not, that think Halo isn't coming, that think Starfield is not coming, that think the rest of the first-party games are not going to come over to PlayStation or any other platform. That is going to continue to happen. They're going to continue to look like morons. And this is what's weird to me. This is what's weird. They're willing to die on these hills and just so sure of themselves, right? They're so sure of themselves it's not going to happen. The writing's on the wall. We're going to get to more writing is on the wall here in just a moment, but let's go to the next cookie baker here, if you will. Destin Legary, formerly of IGN fame, of course, doing his own thing, charging platinum status for ridiculous takes, of course. So as you can see here, in response to Insider Gaming's article, Shuhei Yoshida thinks dangerous subscription models won't advance the industry. 110% would agree. Shuhei is a very smart individual. He's obviously been, not just because he's been part of PlayStation, but because he's been part of PlayStation's success in making the right calls and moves. I believe Shuhei any day of the week over somebody like Destin Legary, who's been proven wrong time and time again, almost on a daily basis, and who is charging you to receive that misinformation at the best. So, of course, he retorts in here and quotes it, as you can see already. But, I mean, we just got Claire Obscure Expedition 33 on Game Pass, so I'm not sure I agree. Interesting. You know, this is super interesting to me because I love how a lot of these fanboys and shills and frauds and all that, they like to take these one-off games, whether it be Power World, whether it be Expedition here, whether it be a couple of others as well. This is not a consistent basis. This is not the theme of things of how it works with Game Pass, folks. This is not how that works. And again, it's just one of those things that just happens. You are not guaranteed to be a success being a brand new IP, especially a turn-based IP. Sea of Stars did okay. Both were available on each subscription service between Game Pass and PS Plus Extra, if not Premium. And that both categorized it into cannibalizing the sales. You know, so that's what happened. Very talked about, but the sales were a little lackluster because of it. But it was a brand new, it was indie. all that stuff, right? Phenomenal game. Go out and play. Go out and buy it. I always support buying those games. However, again, circling back around here, they just like to pick and choose on what makes that Game Pass subscription service so great. And again, here's the thing. Here's what some of them are trying to do aside from corporate bootlicking, aside from just being a shill. I get it. As a consumer, in a perfect world, we just have a subscription service that is super, super valued and at a low cost, and that we can all enjoy and partake on. I 110% agree. I've stated this multiple times, but that's just not the reality of it. That's not sustainable. That's that's just not going to happen in the real world. We're dealing with reality here. So we have folks like Destin that, let's get this out of the way as well. This is the sad part. Destin knows better. I think Destin is actually a smart individual. I do. Unfortunately, he's just fallen victim to the fraud and shill and grifting mentality, because that's what gets engagement. That's what gets clicks. That's what gets you to subscribe to his platinum status subscription for misinformation. He knows better, guys. He knows better than to push this propaganda, and he knows the differences between the two. This is what's sad. This is why I will call it out. This is why he's salty. He's trying to defend it. He's trying to do all these things, and everything that I just mentioned. The engagement is a proprietary piece of his new channel and the avenue he wants to go down for his quote career. But here again, we're picking and choosing which games make it seem like Game Pass is the way to go. I've always stated, actual indie games and some AA games are going to benefit from subscription services, depending. It's still a gamble, because sometimes word of mouth and any other ways of sharing that information is going to help it, and it could catch fire. And there's other times that it won't, and that Game Pass deal right off of the table is going to work out better for them. But it just depends. But as far as AAA games, 110% that does not help them out in the slightest. It really doesn't. It cannibalizes sales, and et cetera, et cetera. But just wanted to share that there as well. But we continue over here. Nico's back here. This is what I have to bring up here, guys. So now we're back on the trend of acquisitions, right? So here, as you can see, Nico, Xbox is the official sponsor of the Sega Games Showcase. Next acquisition incoming. Sega games would fit perfectly into the Game Pass portfolio. Give me that Crazy Taxi remake. So, as we know, this is a recent tweet, obviously. We're talking about the the showcase coming up. But what's interesting here is they were quick to share this and think that everybody didn't see it. And they didn't take down, and Nico, if you're watching this, you did not take this tweet down. You left it up. We can clearly see that this did say C Games Showcase, okay? C Games Showcase is not Sega. Last I checked, C Games is not Sega, unless I'm being a little dyslexic myself, but I don't believe so. So, again, why are we hoping for acquisitions at this point when, even at the point of time of this tweet, this post, that Microsoft is full on third party? Just wondering. So, as we continue here, General MLD speaking on this as well, I love how every so often we get breadcrumbs of Xbox and Sega doing something together. Would be nice. Microsoft certainly has the money to write another ridiculous check. Because that's all it comes down to, is paying to win. You want to talk about pay to win? This would be pay to win, but unfortunately they can pay all they want and they still can't win. Who, in their right mind, would actually be able to buy these huge companies like ZeniMax and ABK and still fail in the console market? And by fail, I mean a distant third place, failing to where you have to release your first-party games of your newly acquired studios as well onto competing platforms continually. Because part of that's Game Pass, part of that's mentality. We've been over all that, but let's continue real quick as well, because Nico, again, of course, hopefully we get another acquisition announcement during the event. Acquisitions aren't going to do anything. You could acquire Square Enix, you could acquire EA, you could acquire Ubisoft, you can write a check and get all those. Not that all those would be passed at this point in time, because once you get ZeniMax and ABK, you're definitely under a microscope when you're going to go that high. Or we've seen Alfalfa himself, Boomstick, with his little Cupid doll hairdo, whatever. Just let it go, dude. Personal experience, let it go. What we have here is he's always on and on about acquiring Rockstar or Take-Two and all this stuff, right? And it's just absurd. They're under a microscope. That's not going to happen. And if they did have that happen and they did acquire it, they're full on third party. Why are you cheering on a third party company to acquire more? Who's cheering on Tencent? Who's cheering on EA and Ubisoft and all that? Nobody's cheering on third party companies because it's like it doesn't matter. They're releasing games on multiple platforms. It doesn't matter. But this is another level of extreme coping and delusion. This is not the way to go. And if you are true to your audience, if you're being honest with your audience, guys, Microsoft wouldn't have been in this position. I do want you guys to take a step back and realize the more that you're deluding yourself and making everything around you in this delusional bubble, especially those with a large follower base, can you imagine if you're just truthful up front and could still hype up what Xbox in the ecosystem could be? And just be like, hey, you know what, guys? Game Pass cannibalizes sales, but that's okay because we still have great value. And we'll see what happens. But also, even though this is great value to us as a consumer, let's continue to also buy games when we can, as often as we can, because this is going to need both. We can also subscribe to the Game Pass feature here in the Xbox ecosystem, but we're also going to need to support the industry. We're also going to need to continually buy games here and there. Please, let's do this so we can continue to make Xbox a success. Let's continue to make them stay around in the hardware business as far as console space is concerned, so we don't have to worry about that, waste time, money, etc. But no, nobody wanted to speak the truth. They just thought things weren't happening. They thought that Microsoft's endless wallet, endless bank account to a point, was going to save everything, save the day. They could continually take deficits. They continually could stand being third place. It doesn't matter about shareholders. It doesn't matter about the high up CEOs like Satya or anybody else. It's going to be okay because they have an endless pocketbook and they're willing to just shill it out for everybody else because they're just our best friends. That's what corporations are our best friends. No, that's not the case whatsoever. So just a little PSA, guys. Instead of hyping up acquisitions and lying and denying stuff to your followers, you could have done some good. You could have done some good. Let's be honest. Let's continue to be honest. Maybe turn a new leaf. Start being honest. You could still love Xbox. You could still love the ecosystem. But just be honest. Be honest with your audience. And I promise things will get much, much better. I promise. So, let's continue over here. So, this is another article. You know it pained them to create this. And this is an article from Michael Hogland here. I don't know if this was Windows Central or where this was from, so correct me if I'm wrong on the Windows Central where this came from, but I don't have the backup portion of this. But in fact, this was an article, but as you can see, the Xbox Series S is currently only slightly cheaper than the far more powerful PS5. Is Microsoft okay with this? So again, speaking to the fact that PlayStation 5 Pro with improved performance is also $70 cheaper than the 2TB Xbox Series X. Yeah. Ouch. Ouch. Good points indeed. Good points indeed. There was a lot of people that came to me looking for consoles recently, locally, online, whatever the case is. I gave them the opportunity. Hey, here's what this ecosystem offers at this price. Here's what this ecosystem offers at this price. Depends on what you're looking for, etc., what the future might look like, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, how they missed this is beyond me, by the way. This was due to the days of play sales and all that stuff, but absolutely beyond me. But as we continue here to further push that envelope, right? Prock here states, how long before they sideline their console strategy? Right? Mike Ibarra, again, if you don't know who he is, to save time, go ahead and look him up. He's definitely been in the industry and knows what he's talking about for the most part. Mike states they already did. Writing is on the wall with that one. And what are we talking about? We can kind of circle around. I said we're going to talk more about this new next generation, whatever this console, hardware, PC thing is going to be considered in the future. But Mike already stated, and this is right before they even announced this new generation of Xbox with what the hardware is going to be, right? This was also before the announcement of the ROG Ally X, when it was rumored that they're going to have a dedicated console that wasn't going to be a partnership with AMD and etc., right? So he knows what he's talking about. He knows insiders. He's heard stuff that he probably can't even talk about. We know this. But it is on the wall. People are now, from the looks of it, still, I'm not going to speak too much to put foot in mouth here, but it's looking like it is mainly going to be a PC with possibly a desktop mode or a Xbox OS mode to make it a little easier for your digital games. It sounds like there will be no disk drive whatsoever. From the sounds of it, again, that could change in the future, and especially by the time the system does come out. But it's leaning more and more like it's going to be pure digital only. As you've seen with their first-party games, there's getting hard copies and software out for the PlayStation first-party Xbox games, but not the actual Xbox ecosystem. They are not giving hardware and, physical CDs and cases, right? It's not happening. So that's telling as well. But again, the writing is on the wall. If they do mainly make this a main PC type of scenario, man, if folks are talking about value, if they're talking about Game Pass, not spending that much, most of the Xbox generation, this generation, own a Series S and not an X. That's just a fact. Look up the data. I don't think people are going to buy a $1,000 or higher console that soon. They're supposed to be having this announced, released around the 27th, 2027, 2028, but looking more like 2027. I don't know if folks are ready for a Xbox dedicated hardware piece that's over $1,000. But I'll be honest, the PS6, when it does release, is also going to be $1,000, guys. The inflation and stuff. So that's something to consider. But again, I don't know. Maybe they're finding a way to get it down to $800-900. I don't know. It's too early to tell on a lot of that stuff. But the point I'm trying to make here as well is that, yes, it's looking like the next Xbox generation is going to be mainly a PC component and proponent, right? So you got to take a step back, realize what you're getting yourself into. And if it's going to be mainly a PC and you're bragging about playing PlayStation first-party games via Steam, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to tell you a secret like I told you a few videos ago in regards to the Xbox Ally X, right? You can do that now. You can get you a PC right now where you could play those first-party PlayStation games right now. You can also play some Xbox games on there as well. So obviously there might be some caveats to the new hardware, what that'll be, but I'm just saying you could do it now, save yourself the time, probably get it a little cheaper than it just being a partnered deal where it's going to be more expensive. You can change the parts and pieces from the graphics cards to the RAMs, not RAMs, but to the RAM and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You could do that right now. But again, if you want to wait because you're all about that corporate stuff and you need that Xbox sticker and whatever else it might give you, by all means. But just understand that it's looking like it's going to be mainly a PC piece of proponent and component, right? But here we are. Now let's go over to our next example here, our final example, if you will, so I don't make this video too long. But General MLD back again. I say let others make the handheld. Save the R&D, and Xbox software powering is what's important. Just give me a full playable library and you have a winner. So, again, they've already accepted. He's changed his goalposts and narratives so many times. General MLD, that's just what he does all the time. So they're okay with the partnership. They're okay not having a dedicated handheld. They're okay not having a dedicated console in the next gen. They're okay with the partnerships, with not even a custom chip. It's just an open chip, right? Something you can get with PCs right now, guys. But they're okay with that. Phil Spencer is like dangling the hypnotizing keychain, right? The pocket watch, and saying, guys, here's your next Xbox. Here it is. It's a PC. Here's your next Xbox. And they're okay with it. And you got the shills and frauds. Like I said, these guys have a decent amount of damn followers. And they're lying and hyping up and glossing over the reality of the situation. They could do some good and be like, you know what, them trying to tell people to buy this new Xbox generation hardware is not going to change anything for Xbox. It's not going to 180 anything. It's already set in motion. It's done. They're full third party. All right? They're full third party. And before we end on this note here, let me explain real quick before we end the video as well. People keep coming at in the comments right now. Make it make sense. What is full third party? PlayStation is full party right now. So is Xbox, but so is PlayStation. What do you mean by full third party? I've stated this multiple times in previous videos, and people don't want to understand. They don't want to listen. It's one ear out the other, or they're skimming through stuff. So let's make it apparently clear right now. 100% truthful from me to you. I'm not glossing over anything, all right? What full third party means. Are we listening right now? Because I don't want to have to repeat this in a future video. I know some people will ask, but hopefully people can point them to this video. Full third party means what I'm meaning, and yes, PlayStation is third party. I'm not denying that. Full third party, what I mean is that Xbox is putting their first party Xbox games on a direct competing platform like PlayStation. That's their direct competitor. They could be releasing their first party games on Nintendo. I probably wouldn't even say full third party because it would just be Nintendo. Like, they're competitors, but they're not. Nintendo's their own little thing, their own niche little market where their exclusives are what sells that console, from Pokemon to Donkey Kong to Mario to Zelda, all that stuff. It sells. Metroid. Third party is just kind of another aspect to it, take or leave it kind of situation. So if they weren't giving it to PlayStation, I probably wouldn't consider them what I could say full third party. PlayStation is not releasing Bloodborne, The Last of Us, Horizon, Gran Turismo, Demon Slayer, Ratchet and Clank, Returnal. The list goes on and on and on. They're not releasing their single player first party games over to Xbox in any way, shape, or form. If the next Xbox generation can play PlayStation first party games via Steam, that is still not on Xbox as a console itself. And as of this time, 100%, none of those first party games are on Xbox. Do we understand what I mean now when I say full third party? Xbox is full third party. Hashtag whole slate. Hashtag no red lines. Those hashtags are not associated with PlayStation because those first-party single-player games are not on the Xbox One, the One X, the Series S, the Series X. If they do appear on the next generation Xbox, it would be via Steam only. They're not going to be day and date. They haven't been. There's no plans to change that, to my knowledge, at any time soon. Way in the future, could be day and date on Steam and PC components, right? That's the way it is. But let's just take a step back and understand, again, that's what that means. So you can be offended and upset about that all you want, but that's just the truth. Xbox is full third party. That's what I deem it. I'm not saying that Shuhei Yoshida, Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, Herman Holst is stating this fact or this definition. But for me to convey that to this audience, that's how I'm conveying it. Full third party. And I've never once said that PlayStation was not third party, because they are in a manner of description, because their first party games are on PC right now. Even their first party single player games, they are on PC right now. That in turn makes them third party. Their multiplayer live service games are also on multiple platforms as well that they publish. They are third party, right? That's what they are. Never denied that. So that being said, if you have any questions or concerns about what I'm stating, what I mean when I say Xbox is full third party, that is what I mean. End of story, chapter closed We don't have to keep bringing this up a why and get all huffy puffy about it, or you can, but those are just the facts. They are full third party. That's how I'm describing it. That's how it is. Their entire catalog is now available on all platforms and will continue to do more and more games as time comes on and goes on. They're done, guys. They're done. This is their new direction. Xbox everywhere. They're done. Okay? Next generation, they're done. Because they're basically going to be a hybrid at the best case scenario with all the information we have right now. Best case scenario, they are a hybrid piece of hardware where it's mainly PC and you could still operate somewhat with console easiness, right? Could be a cool little feature, not knocking that. But the fact is, they're done. There's no dedicated console-only competitor. PS6 looks to be a dedicated console at this time. If that changes in the future, I'll report on that. We'll look at options. As of right now, these are the options on the tables, guys. This is going to create more salt, copium, delusion, hopium, whatever you want to call it. That's just the way it is. But that being said, we will wrap up the video right now. If you have any questions, concerns about what that definition means, talk it amongst yourselves, but it's black and white what I just stated. That being said, every like, comment down below does help out the algorithm, helps me out. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing, helping out a small content creator like myself. We are getting our way over to that 3,500 sub goal, so thank you all so much. Really appreciate that. And of course, at the end of the day, just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault Gaming video. And until then, take care.